personal brain is made up of a series of interconnected thoughts. Let's take a moment to talk about these special thought relationships. In the center of the application, you will always have the active thought. The active thought is always the current focus of your personal brain. Relationships are always displayed around and relative to the active thought. This gives you a viewpoint or perspective to view and derive other relationships. Below the active thought, we have what we call the child thoughts. The child thoughts are subcategories of the active thought. Above the active thought, we have the parent thought. Therefore, the active thought is a subcategory of its parent thought. And keep in mind, thoughts may have more than one parent thought. To the right, we have siblings. Siblings simply share one or more of the same parent thought. And finally, to the left of the active thought, we have the jump thought. The jump thought is where you can really break away from any type of hierarchical structure that you may be creating. Jump thoughts share a relationship with the active thought, but don't necessarily fit in as a subcategory of the active thought. Therefore, they're not children. But it can be easily accessed from this jump thought location. Let's take a look at some real-world examples. I'm going to click on Bill Howard. You can clearly see that Bill Howard is currently the focus of my personal brain. It's the active thought. Below, we have all the child thoughts. In this case, these are documents that Bill has been assigned to be working on: finance apps, marketing budget, and sales forecast. All child thoughts of the Bill Howard thought. Above Bill, we have his parent thought, and we can clearly see that Bill is a member of the West Coast sales team. Sibling thoughts are other members of the same sales team. And then we have our jump thought. In this case, we can easily access the top 5 clients that Bill Howard happens to be handling. Our next example is one of our clients, Time Warner. I've navigated to the Time Warner thought, making it the active thought. Below, we have our subcategories, or child thoughts. In this case, a series of different documents, as well as an attached folder. Time Warner has multiple parent thoughts. It falls under VIP clients, as well as under a couple of different client categorizations: telecommunications and media and entertainment. Other clients that fall into those categories are displayed over on the right. These are Time Warner's sibling thoughts. Our jump thoughts are company employees that are currently and actively working with this particular client. Our last example is the mail res database, which is the active thought. Our child thoughts are backup procedures, database schemas, and any digital information I have regarding this particular database. I can clearly see from this particular thought's parents that the IT support center is the user community responsible for this particular database. The database is hosted in Los Angeles, and it's on the SQL Prod 1 server. It's also a component of the Outlook Exchange application. Our sibling thoughts are other thoughts that are children of the same parent thoughts. And my jump thoughts are a manager that handles this particular database, as well as another server that happens to share the same rack as the mail res database. Keep in mind, as you're creating your personal brain, that no relationship you create is ever absolutely permanent. You can always change the relationship. For example, if I wanted Sandra to be a child thought, I simply click and drag Sandra down below the mail res database into the child thought zone. When I release my mouse trigger, Sandra Neal becomes a child thought of the mail res database. If Sandra was solely responsible for this particular database, I also might want to make her the parent thought. But for this example, she's simply a manager that handles all upgrades for this particular database. I'll bring her back over to the jump thought zone, and she's reconnected as a jump thought to the MailRes database. Understanding thought relationships will give you a foundation of knowledge for creating a powerful and useful personal brain.